Hi, I'm a frickin' nutcase, and I thought I'd do another video in my series of long riding tips. And this one is a pretty fundamental one when you go to plan a trip, and that's camping or motels. And it's not as simple as it sounds. Obviously, there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages to both, and I'll go through some of the things that I find makes a determination as to which way I want to go on any given night. One of the things that's important to remember is that if you don't bring any camping gear, you ain't doing any camping. And though that sounds pretty obvious, if you're out for say 2 weeks, 14, 15 nights, and you only cap 1 or 2 nights, you've hauled a lot of camping gear, taking it probably on and off the bike many, many nights, never to really use it. So you have to kind of think about how many nights you're actually going to camp. If you're only going to camp a few nights, maybe it's not worth bringing the camping gear. Other case, if you're a hardcore camper and you might only take 1 or 2 nights in a motel, then yeah, definitely plan it that way. So yeah, let's look at the advantages of camping. Well, the number one biggie for camping is cost. Throughout most of North America, campsites are much, much cheaper than taking even a cheapy motel. And the real big plus in Canada, because motels and just about everything tends to be a little pricier here than it is south of the border. So if you're traveling in Canada and you're on a budget, really look to make the bias of your trip planning around camping. So that's the big one. The other big advantage of camping is if you're running in a nice spot and it's late at night in the middle of nowhere, and you don't feel like stopping at the current town, well, you got your camping gear. You can just keep on. And if you don't make it to a provincial, a federal, or any sort of organized campground, and you're out in the middle of nowhere, well, find a flat spot, pitch your tent, call it a night. That's a huge, huge advantage of camping. Basically, when you're tired or you find a nice spot to stop, you just do. You're not bound to find anything vaguely resembling civilization. The downside to camping, well, there's a few of them. Besides the fact you got to haul camping gear, which, if you pick right and you buy backpacking style gear, really isn't that bulky. But again, it's one more thing to carry, one more thing to deal with, one more expense up front. But pay for itself probably pretty quickly in a 2-week trip. So the downsides of camping are, well, when the weather's the shits, camping's the shits. It's really just that simple. If the weather really isn't conducive, cold, wet, rainy, it kind of takes the fun out of camping. So let's sort of look at motelling. One of the big advantages of motelling, obviously, is it doesn't really matter what the weather is. If it's cold or warm outside, you're probably going to be fairly comfortable, and no matter how hard it's raining, unless you're in a really budget motel, you're probably warm and dry. And those can't be underestimated as really important advantages. Obviously, there's a few other small advantages. I find I can pack up and be on the road much quicker from a motel than if I have to break camp. And same thing goes for setting up camp at night. I don't mind pulling into a hotel at dusk, but I'd rather set up camp before it gets dark. So realistically, you get more riding time in a motel. So that's a plus. The other plus that I guess could be a neutral depending how you've got your bike rigged up is the ability to charge up our electronic fix. We get to charge up our cell phones, our computers, and all that stuff that's sort of hard to handle on the road, hard to charge on the bike, is really easy to set up when you're in a motel. Yeah, not my best corner ever. This is the first time this season I've been out on this road and I'm a little rusty. So yeah, that's some of the advantages. Obviously the big disadvantage I mentioned is the price. Now if there's 2 people going, that sort of spreads the pain and it makes motelling a little bit more livable in terms of cost. Most rooms can easily fit 2 guys comfortably, so you don't really have to worry about finding a spot that can accommodate 2, and you can share the cost. So that's big. So yeah, that's about all the points I've got on motelling versus camping. I like doing both. There's pluses and minuses, as I've said. I guess in the nice weather through the summer, I'll probably prefer to camp. But the chances are, when the weather's bad, if I could go on a fall tour, I'm going to bias it towards taking motelling, just because the nights will get cold, might be damp, and I want the warmth and dry of a motel. So there you go. There's some ideas on camping or motelling. I am a frickin' nutcase.